you know, I keep listening to Christmas music and watching Christmas movies and stuff, but it still doesn't feel like Christmas. It still feels weird. I don't know. And maybe it's just because when you have little kids around, you know, it's a lot more exciting, and then you get older and it's just kind of like, it's just another day, really. And I like the festive part, though. I like the music. It makes you feel good. I like the coziness of it. And then plus making all the presents for people. I love that. I love making stuff for people. So, I don't know. It just feels weird. It doesn't, I don't know, everything feels weird to me. And today's I think it's the 19th. Might be, because I'll see the 21st, because I looked it up. 21st is supposed to be so significant. The 21st is a Tuesday. And so today's Sunday. So yeah, today's the 19th. You know, I kept thinking today was going to be some big day. I don't know why 12/19 kept sticking out in my head. 12/19, 12/19. Who knows? Who knows? But I don't even know what's going on out in the world. I'm so cut off from everything. So, I don't know. Maybe something big is going on out there. I'm sure lots of big stuff is going on. Because that's the time we're in. This huge shuffle, this huge mix-up. This huge thing where everybody has to prioritize, look at what they want out of life, look where they're headed, look where, you know, a lot of it is so many people are living a life that they don't want to live. They're trying to make relationships work because they think it's the right thing when they're miserable. It's not fulfilling and they're unhappy. You know, so many people in relationships are just suicidal because it's like, this was supposed to make me feel better. This was supposed to give me something in return, and it doesn't. Instead, it takes. And it pulls from me. It pulls my energy. It takes my power away. It makes me doubt myself. You know, and that's kind of like what relationships have been like for people for so long. You know, and if you are fortunate enough to make a good one right off the bat, you know, like, more power to you. It's not the way that we've been trained to do. And it's not been, I mean, they've been successful in the way of learning. If you go into a relationship to learn about yourself, and, you know, I'm not saying like every relationship I go into, I'm like, I'm going to learn about myself. No, it all had to hit me at once, you know, after I got my brain injury. Then I had to look at them all. But I think if we start going into relationships in that kind of way of looking at, like, you know, we just go into things like this giant commitment, and, you know, we've got to get married. I mean, girls start writing their name with the guy's name, and like in freaking grade school, you know, they start promoting, you know, get married and have kids, and that's going to make you a happy family. And then there was all the women who are like, no, that's not good enough. I can be successful. I can go out and I can make money. And I can do it all. I can have kids, leave them at home by themselves, and go out and make money and make relationships, spend the night away from my cat. Like, everything's been so backward. Nothing has been to make us feel better or to promote humanity or mankind's growth of relationships and connection. It's all been very toxic relationships. You know, family dynamics, very toxic. It's just, Stella's crying out there. Hold on just a sec. I'll be right back. You're such a bully, Trixie. Okay, don't knock over my thing, okay? Okay. Stella's coming to join me. Okay, girl, you're gonna have to get yourself up there. She just got a drink. Now she's all wet. And her cute little bib thing, or her cute little scarf. She thinks she's so fancy when I put it on. It's so cute. She just is like, yeah, I wear clothes too. You wear clothes, don't ya? You're so pretty, lady. Oh, you big wet face. So, anyways, so what I was talking about, yes, people just go when they're trying to make relationships and they're miserable and they think like this was supposed to make them feel good and they feel like a failure. Like what I was saying yesterday, I think when I was talking about relationships and long-term relationships, something that crossed my mind was that, you know, for such a long time to be in this one, you know, there was, all the ones I was in was, you know, it was pretty toxic, really. All of the relationships were in, but it was all to teach me, you know, what do I allow for myself. And in the one, oh, what was it? It just crossed my mind. And then it just flew right through. Like, bye, thought. Well, maybe it'll come back to me. Came back to me after I was gonna say it, and then I forgot to say it, and then it came back to me in the middle of the night, and then there was something about relationships. Well, anyways, you can be in them for, you know, a long time and keep thinking that you, oh, I remember what it was now. Yeah, that when you're in one and you see it's bringing the worst out in you, you can see like, I don't like myself. I'm really a horrible person in this relationship. This is not good for me. It's not good for my soul. Like the one I was talking about then, and I know I've talked about this before because it was 15 years. And there was so much time when I was just, oh my God, I was so miserable. I was such a depressed person during that time. I was so depressed. I was like suicidal. I just wanted to drive off a cliff. I was just angry. It's just like, what is wrong with me? Like, oh my God, this isn't me. And you don't realize that it is the environment that you put yourself in that is bringing parts out of you that you don't even know are there. And, you know, when you're just trying to survive relationships, you keep going, especially if you are in a, you know, messed up mind state, then it's real easy to think like, well, if I just do this, it will make it better. If I just do that, it will make it better. If I wouldn't have done this, we wouldn't have gotten in a fight. And you start taking on a lot of responsibility for a toxic relationship in all types. It can be, you know, family, any kind of family members that you know, it's just patterns that we develop as humans because, you know, their big thing about, psychology was never going to give us that fulfillment, that growth. Like, you can go in and you can grow, but there's always that, like a toxic thing attached to it. You know, there's always blame. There's a lot of things about psychology that I don't appreciate. Yesterday when I was talking to my granddaughter, because I wanted to be a psych nurse so bad when I first started being a nurse. I was like, I knew I wasn't somebody to deal with sick people. No. People who had challenges with their brain, I was like all about that. But I had to go for a lot of years working in the hospital and, you know, wiping a lot of asses, taking care of a lot of people who just surrendered their health to the system. And, you know, that comes with this like helplessness, like, oh, poor me, like grown adults crying and whining. I'm just not about that. And so I wanted to do psych. And so when I was talking to my granddaughter yesterday, and she got into college and she was all excited and she wants to go into medical. And I'm like, well, nursing is not what you think it is. And, but when I got to the psych nursing part, I loved that part. Oh my gosh, I loved that. It was such a cool job. And I got right to it. And that's when, you know, I lost my license, my brain injury, you know, that's when I got tested. It was a year and a half after I had received it. You know, when they were just telling me, oh, it's just your hormones. It's just your hormones. That's what's wrong with you. It's, my kids are telling me, you've got dementia, Mom. What's wrong with you? Why can't you remember things? And the doctors are like, oh, it's just your hormones. It's the hormones. When they were there in the hospital, they knew what happened. And they, yeah, didn't do anything to help me. But then, yeah, the point where because when I was doing the regular nursing, just go to the hospital, you didn't have to drive around. When you're doing psych nursing, there's a lot more social work, there was a lot more driving around. And I was getting lost. And I started getting kind of freaked out. Like, okay, well, maybe I've just got early onset dementia. Alzheimer's, like my aunt. She had it. So it's like, maybe I've got that. Maybe I need medication. They just tell me it's my hormones. That's what's wrong with me. So maybe it's more, And so then I went in. When I went into, I know I've talked about this before. It was kind of surreal. Because I went into the doctor to ask her something about that. When I got in there, she came into the room and she brought it up. She started saying, my staff is saying you're saying weird stuff and you're doing weird stuff and you're talking weird. You can't remember things. And I think we need to do some testing on you. And I was like, okay. So she started doing these tests and I was failing. I just could not at all remember at all what she was saying. Even like figuring out the times of a clock. It was just like, they would say, like, figure out what 2:47 would look like on a clock. And it was just like a shuffle in my brain. It was like, what? 2, 4, 7. Like, I couldn't, it was really, but until I had gone in and had somebody really take it serious. And then with her test, that's when she sent me into the specialist. And that's when I went through like that week of tests. It was so much tests. And, then I had to do more tests. Like, they had to do all sorts of brain, like, imaging and stuff like that. But the one test, when they check you for dementia, Alzheimer's, brain injuries, or whatever, that one, it takes, like a week. And she hadn't even told me until when I came in is when she told me. She turned me into the nursing board. She was like, you can't work. I can't legally, or whatever. She was, she has to tell the board legally or whatever. So she said, sorry, but I had to tell them, you can't work under these conditions. You're not, you shouldn't be working. And it's like, oh my gosh, you're out there just struggling and you don't know, but it kind of like is a relief because you're struggling so hard. And I couldn't figure out, like, I was having so much problems. Oh my God, I was struggling so bad. But that is what sent everything in my whole life upside down. And it was one thing after another of having to heal and rebuild and, and it's not ever there's a point of relief of knowing like, oh, so there is something wrong, but you just don't know where it's going to go to either. Like, you don't know, your whole life's going to flip upside down. So, but it's all, and that's why I try and talk about, when you're faced with those things, which I know lots of people are faced with right now, and you have to look at everything differently. Everything in your life, we have a drive that's driving us, but it's not us that's driving us. It's our need to impress others, our need to be what others want us to be. And we bring this toxic kind of, personality disorder into relationships because it shouldn't be like that. You should be all of who you are. You should be drawing in by being who you are, should draw in, a match, but it's doing your healing before. It's not using relationships to heal. It's not breaking up families to heal. It's not going into relationships thinking this is going to make me better. And really you go into it and it just makes you worse. It makes you a worse person. It makes you hate yourself. It makes you hate the other person. It makes you miserable in your family life. And if we just went about it in a different way and we did our healing and then we began our family development, our family planning, our moving towards like, I'm enough of my own self. I'm ready to bring others into this and develop a family and create something, but everything has just been all like carry. Just do whatever makes you feel good. If it makes you feel good, do more of it. It's like, that's not the way to fulfillment. It's an empty kind of lifestyle. It's an empty kind of way of living. This, a superficial, insatiable give me more, give me more, give me more. Like, that's going to make me happy. But it never is enough. It's never enough. When you're looking outside of yourself, there's always somebody else. There's somebody else who's going to have more. There's somebody else who's going to look better. There's somebody else who's going to, make you feel like you're not enough. You got to build all of that up in your own self so that you aren't going out as an injured person like anybody can crush you. You got to go out as a strong person. Like, if you don't see me for who I am, that's on you. I can't do anything about it. And if you think that you need to change me, that means you need to change you. Because you shouldn't go out in the world thinking you need to change anybody. You should only be looking from your own point of view, your own perspective of self. You shouldn't be going out like, da, 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 I'm going to change you, I'm going to change you, I'm going to change you. That's not how we want to be. We want to be accepting. And if we're bringing in people that we can't accept, if we're bringing in people that we feel are not in alignment with us, then that is, those are it's about the lessons that you're learning right there. It's about learning so you can get to that part. It's not like just accept whatever comes your way. Just accept whatever comes your way. Just take whoever. Swipe right. Just keep going. That is not. What is the word? It is not going after what you want and setting your standard and knowing what your desires are. And, that is just taking whatever comes. It's like it's the last can on the shelf. Okay, well, I'll take it. That is kind of the mentality, I was watching Serendipity for the 100 millionth time. And I'm really having a hard time finding stuff to watch, though. But, so I was watching Serendipity again, and I love it because it is so true. Everything is destiny, and it is about when we're out there fighting to make things happen, we're just working against ourselves. When we relax and we just, go with the flow, things direct us where we need to be and who we need to be around and stuff like that. And, and sometimes we have to put ourselves out there. Sometimes we have to, ask to be invited or whatever, I don't know. I'm not saying like every single person is going to show up at your door or, you're going to touch the same gloves at the same time. Because some of our lessons is to, know what you want and go for what you want. And then being open to it and seeing what is in front of you. Because so many times we just don't even see. We're so busy in here that we don't see what is right before us. So I know I'm going all over the place. And I'm talking I feel like I'm talking in riddles. But I can see what they're saying, even if it doesn't make sense. Sometimes I feel like that I say things and I think it doesn't make sense to me, but sometimes I'll go back and I'll listen, and most of the time I have no idea what I talked about. No clue. I'll go in and I'll listen, I'll be like, oh my gosh. And so many times I'm talking about stuff I don't have any idea about. It just is kind of like listening to what they show you and see, so that you can, because it's all about trying to live more pure, and it's all about this spiritual journey, about connecting to who and what you really are. That's what all of this stuff is all about, everything in life. And it's so weird because for so long it's just been so stagnant of a life. So many people just living in such a unhealthy way. Just like I said, even psychology, it was all about here, go, be a healthier person, but do what this person says and blame this person and stuff. But that's not at all. Everything about spiritual journey is about self. It's about following your own self, following your own guidance, your own connection, connecting with source, universe, or whatever you want to see it as. It is a connection between you and that. So you don't go through other people or other ways. It's you connecting to you. connecting to all things. That is the real journey, you know. And I don't know, just here for so long, it's just been so toxic. And you know, how can we go and heal if we're just blaming others for our pain? When we take responsibility for our pain and we see the lessons behind our pain, and we see that it is us that creates the change that we want, then it all comes back to us. Everything comes back to us. It's just, you know, it's our own inability to want to control it, or to see what control we have over it, and to want to blame others. You know, so many people just, life's too hard. This is life. Life sucks. Just got to get through this life, and all that, blaming life. When there's so many things so many lessons right under our noses all the time. It's nutty. And they're always interacting with us, whoever you want to think they are, just like them setting out those little sock slipper things right at my eye thing next to that door when I was going through it. And yesterday when I was looking for a movie, I was like, oh, what movie I'd like to watch? That one where those kids turn into superheroes. All those kids become superheroes. And I was picturing it, but I couldn't remember what the movie was. I couldn't remember who was in it. I just remembered all these kids turning into these superheroes and taking on all these bad people. And I couldn't think of what it was. So then today I was looking for a holiday movie, and I was going down the holiday list, and there it was, right there, Shazam. So it's like they just bring stuff to you, but we're just not always noticing. We're just like, oh, I'm gonna look, because I've done it before. Oh, I want to watch that, blah, blah, blah. But I don't remember what it is, and I don't remember what it's called. So I start on, you know, with this huge search. But all we got to do is just relax. Put it out there, you know? Put out there what you want, and then relax. And know that it's going to come to you. Don't fight yourself with your own doubt and your own inability to see what your value is, you know? Because it's all related. It's all linked up. And I know I've been talking a long... Oh, I swear to God, I looked up at that a minute ago and said 30. This weird stuff keeps happening. I was changing the batteries. I got my Roku remote thing wasn't working, so I opened it to look at the batteries, and I was like, oh, I went in to look, and it only had little tiny ones, and it needed bigger ones. So I was like, oh, okay, so I'll go in and I'll order some, because I'll just order from Amazon for stuff like that, because it's way more gas to drive into town, and the mail guy is coming right by. So I ordered some, and then they came the next day, and I go to put them in, and it was the wrong size. It needed the little ones. It was like, what the fuck? I got the little ones out. I put them up. They wouldn't work. I ordered these, and now all of a sudden these are little... It was weird, man. It was so weird. I was like, man, this weird stuff keeps happening. Like, I feel like it is going through some sort of, like, time warps or something. Like, everything is, like, jumbling around. I don't know. The sky is still so weird. Yesterday I went outside. I crossed over the street to go out to the mailbox. Then I looked up, and it was like these weird big pink clouds that were like, had this white outline around, and then like this yellow and this blue, like with this gray. I don't know. I've never seen skies like this. I don't know. I just feel like everything is, I feel like everything is just so weird. Everything is so weird. In our physical environment, you know, and it is like it's a collapse. I mean, like, you just post something about a flat Earth, and just watch the conversations, watch what people think and see and hear. Like, people really think everything is real. They really believe, like, this is real. This is real. This is real life. This is real. This is a real globe. This is real. Yeah, I don't know. I know it's not real, but it is, the manipulation is like, to what extent? That's what we're waiting to see, I think. Like, Like, where are we? How did the sky change? Where's the sun? Like, why is the moon in different places? Like, something's going on. I don't know. Guess we will see at some point. Hopefully 12/21 is really going to be significant. I mean, there sure is a lot of people saying it, something like solstice or something, but there's been so many of these dates just come and go. You always have high hopes, which I know things happen. I mean, I know things happen just because I don't see them, just because it doesn't come on, then drop down in my living room. Just as, just want something to just like, crack off. Something big. Let's get things going the other direction. Like, how long we gotta sit here in this stew? Yeah. But anyways, I am just rambling. And, just remember, every single thing is about you learning about you. It's about you evolving, about you growing in relationships, and always start taking things back on you. Stop blaming others for, your wife is causing your pain or whatever. Maybe you're just not in alignment, and those relationships are going to break. Things are going to be breaking right now. But just remember that everything is going to line up better. Like, remember, if a relationship ends, it's, you've got a lot of stuff that would be coming up, abandonment and what's that called when rejection, those kinds of things. It comes up. It's just for you to heal those things. It's not for you to get stuck there and to feel like nobody's ever going to love you. It's for you to heal those, because then you're going to raise yourself up. You're going to pull in for the next lesson. There won't be that lesson. You will have learned that lesson. That lesson's over. You don't have to learn it again when you learn it. You learn about the rejection and the abandonment, and you see, like, you can't go into too much detail because everybody's stuff is so different. Everybody has their own intricate details going on in their own lives. But 100%, tons of relationships are ending. And it's just, don't take on those. It's not about somebody rejecting you. It's about them starting to learn about themselves. And they have to sometimes learn that they went into a relationship for the wrong reasons. You could be the greatest person on earth, and you will be the greatest person on earth for somebody else, somebody who's more in alignment for you. You got to realize when these things are breaking apart. Like, I know of some relationships, that are breaking apart. And some people are just holding on, like, no, I've got to make it work. Because there's something better out there for you. But you have to learn about yourself in order to know you deserve something better. You don't have to have this hard relationship that was dead end, where nobody was loving anybody. There's something more. There's something better. Something that is more in alignment with you. But you have to figure out who you are so you can pull in what's in alignment to you. And a lot of it is learning who you're not to learn who you are, So anyways, that's all I can say is just, in all of the different things, it is so much more productive to look at you all the time. So anyways, have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.